America, having destroyed the Allies, now turns sights on the Rome Pact with a goal of destroying it to gain an advantage because they're scared of the Soviet Union. They went from paranoid to the Allies to the Soviet Union. Also, they get ready to expand the members of the Washington Pact. The Soviet Union's ready to invade Iran, Iraq. America uses every excuse in the book to attack the Rome Pact. Meanwhile, Peru, being Peru, decides to invade Ecuador by lining up the border and marching into Quito. So let's get started. So please subscribe and let's go to Ecuador. Who doesn't want to go to Ecuador? All I have to say about Ecuador is, yeah, you're like Ecuador. Personally, I think Brazil's better than all of y'all. But I guess, yeah. Also, the Washington Pact is red. It shouldn't be. I should have changed the color already. But it doesn't matter. As the troops quickly march into Quito, annexation's inevitable. With this, they quickly seize it. From here, they move in, and with Washington's Pact support, they collapse it. And well, as you can see, we got a big Peru. And America, needing expansion, decides to go to Peru. Peru accepts. They go to Venezuela, Brazil, Bolivia. All of them accept. As they conquer the north of the continent with their alliance gaining traction. And you might be wondering, but Saudi Arabia and North Yemen join. Wait, why did I say the Soviets were invading somewhere? That was an incorrect statement, but anyways. The Italians and Spanish get attacked by America. Well, the Washington Pact, America. But their first attack that causes this war is the seizure of Equatorial Guinea, which leads the Italians on the defensive side on a multi-front war. And the puppets in Bulgaria, yeah, I don't know if they're truly loyal, Italy. You might be thinking they are, but I don't think they are. You can lie to yourself, Italy, I know that. And now let's color in your puppets, because they're at war too. And let's see where the first attack happens. Out of American West Africa. They attack in this Spain from here, with their positions growing strong to the north. And into Sudan and East Africa, they managed to take it. Good gains. Quickly taking the upper hand across Africa. Meanwhile, a lot slower than that, into the Middle East, Saudi's forces move in, and they manage to push into Iraq and encircle a big chunk of this nation, and quickly move in to ensure they can capture the troops and bring down the numbers. With the Americans at 4.2 million, the Italians are at 3.2, Italians and allies. Now we can see Germany's operation, which becomes known as the invasion of Hungary. And a big chunk of Hungary falls. And then we see Bulgaria decide, enough is enough, I'm done with this. Yeah, I hope they enjoy this. With the troops almost marching them out of the war. Almost marching them into a capitulation. But thus, they join the Washington Pact and decide, well, they can do what they want. But the invasion of Hungary goes surprisingly well, and, well, into the Romania area. Romania revolts, meaning they switch sides. They become free. They don't join the Washington Pact, they just want freedom, but they work with it. They will, actually, they don't want to be invaded by the Soviets. With Hungary mostly falling. And then the puppet of France, well, it gets occupied by the puppet of France. Yeah, northern France annexes southern France. Very original. as an invasion of Spain happens, which stalls out once they get to the Pyrenees Mountains. Pretty good. And then Italy, which stalls out in the Alps. And Italy is like happy about it. With Turkey starting to lose to Bulgaria in the north. With Bulgarian troops breaking out. Unfortunately, there's not cities on this map. But we can say they move towards Ankara. And they encircle the city with capture. With Turkey on the verge of collapse, an invasion of the Levant region happens, which even manages to push Italy back to Egypt's Suez Canal. And in the south, oh, yeah. Yes, the Africa front begins to collapse, as they quickly get pushed out of the Horn of Africa and East Africa, being pushed all the way into southern Egypt. And against Spain, oh, yeah. Not a good sign for Italy. Italy, you're screwed. I'm just being honest. Like, do you think you'll survive? Yeah, you probably do, because you're a fascist dictator scum in this timeline, because it is the 1940s, and World War II didn't happen like our timeline. But anyways, Italy, you're that stubborn? Yeah. And if the Italians complain that I put random ingredients and stuff, I'll crack pasta for them. They'll watch. Not actually. That cooks it bad, I think. Can't prove it. Well, I could, but why would I? Then I have to prove it right. As they invade the Atlas Mountains and see the people who weren't taken over by Arab colonization, and they're like, oh, these are normal. Not actually. Or did they say that? But it doesn't really matter, because Turkey's being cooked like a freaking turkey. And then we have Italy, who's just fighting bad. Like, you're bad, Italy. And then we have Spain, wannabe power, but can't even sustain anything. And then we got America. Evil America, actually. Annexing all the Caribbean and Yucatan. And Belize. Yeah, they're a bit evil. And yes, Spain gets invaded from the south in towards Portugal, quickly capturing Lisbon, with this not being the best offensive. With France finally breaking through into Catalonia, then across the Basque in the north, capturing it. Within the south, they move in. Eventually, Madrid is captured. The leader gets hung. So fun. In Italy, they are getting pushed out of Libya into two fronts in Africa. And by the way, they're getting beat up in Africa. And in Anatolia, oh, they're not even able to help. With the Turks being pushed towards Iran's border, and they run over it. With Italy having troops stuck in Egypt, Egypt eventually falls. With Italy deciding to annex Turkey. Okay, I don't know what you're trying to achieve. And Yugoslavia, which was being a pain, decides to switch sides. And well, with Bulgaria's success in re-liberating itself, Italy, yeah, you're not going to have a good time. And I don't care. To the Italians, this is probably worse than people cracking pasta for some reason. Well, they're probably Americans that do it, let's be honest. Like, even the plants in America taste funny. Everything tastes funny there. And, well, Turkey fallen. And, well, the Greece offensive and Dalmatia offensive begins with Greece and Italian Dalmatia falling. With a landing in Sicily, then Sardinia, then Corsica, then into South Tyrol. With Italy being paralyzed by this and losing and losing and losing and losing. Honestly, bald people are either great people or horrible people. I've never seen a normal bald person. Prove me wrong. Also, that's stereotyping, which you shouldn't do, because that can make people mad, but who cares about people? Only people care about people. And well, let's see the peace treaty. They made a bunch of puppets, and they made some new ones out of the land they already had, such as the Nigerian puppet along the coast there, and the East Africa puppet. Then from the games they made the American Egypt, American Sudan, American Abyssinia, American North Africa. Oh, that's not supposed to be there, but yeah, American. And then American Morocco. With American West Africa expanding. And then for Saudi Arabia, they gained a bunch of Arab lands, and then they got a puppet the Kurdish lands. They joined the alliance. Then we have Bulgaria, who got to gain access to the coast and a bit of land from Turkey, greatly expanding. Hungary was torn down, but allowed to keep its hat. Slovakia's free. Yugoslavia's big. Romania's big. Albania, Greece, Turkey. Yeah. Then we have French Spain, German Italy, French Italy. France got to be a free nation because of how much they fought. And on the side, Galicia is freed. Portugal and Galicia. We got Catalonia and Basque freed. And well, overall, that's pretty much all. But let's see. As the Soviets are wanting India to switch sides so they don't fall to the Washington Pact, they offer them membership. But for India, they refuse. So the Soviet Union and allies, like Japan, the Soviet, and then their puppets, like China and Xinjiang and Sweden even. Yeah. Let's finish doing that. Then over here, that becomes this. Well, we're going to go to multiple wars. And they managed to get 4 million troops. India only manages to get 3. Oh my god, so pathetic. Can they even do anything right, India? With the Soviet Union leading the first offensive in the north. That's where they launched their offensive. With them outnumbering by a ratio of like 3-1. But India manages to hold firm against them. Now Japan decides to invade along with their Chinese puppet, Manchurian puppet, into this direction along with some Soviet troops, and this front is a success. With India being pushed all the way back into Bengal. And on the other front, they get pushed in from the north a bit further. As they take Delhi and march towards Karachi, which they take. And well, as you can see, this is a two-front war. Eventually, these two fronts connect. India loses this island. India launches a last counter-offensive, pushing them back to Nepal, splitting the two fronts, moving it back into Bengal. But overall, it was meaningless for their existence. And well, this is because they're trying to compete with America, who is funding India. And well, it collapses. Well, let's look into the peace treaty to see how they are uniting. But let's get to India. There's South India, which is the southern parts of India and Sri Lanka. There's India, Pakistan, Kashmir, Bengal, and Myanmar were made into puppets. But the Soviets need to keep America out, and they see them encroaching towards Iran and Afghanistan. They believe, doesn't mean it's true. But that's mostly being done by the Russians. With them advancing into Iran from two fronts. With them managing to seize Tehran pretty fast. With Iran having a pathetic military at this point. With the puppets starting to engage. And meanwhile, while this is going on, the invasion of Afghanistan begins, which basically is a front line and groups joining it. But they're not allowed there. They won't go into Turkey or Romania because they're under the protection of the Washington Pact without being part of it. So let's see how this peace treaty goes. Iran is probably running out the door in shock by the Soviet Union and most of Afghanistan, with a tad going to Pakistan from Afghanistan and Iran, and then Iran becomes a puppet, Soviet Iran. And while, as you can see, they are dominating the Asian continent, and Nepal and Bhutan decide to side with them, even though not directly. And well, now as two major powers remain, the Washington Pact and Soviet-Japanese Union. They both want to kill each other. How will they not? One stands for militarism and interventionism. The other, state control and expansionism. Too close together for comfort. I guess. Well, anyways, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and comment your thoughts and theories on the American Paranoia series. Please click the notification bell to not miss Alternate Future of the World Part 7 on Sunday and American Paranoia on Tuesday. Wild Mapper out, but click a video above.